Y'all listening to the Whiskey and Insurance Podcast with your hosts Luke Eckley, Talbott Buford, and Marquan Hughes. In this episode, the boys are joined by Ryan Smith from Aspire Insurance Solutions to discuss his journey into insurance, building client relationships, and tips for sales success. Take a seat and take a sip. It's whiskey for the soul and insurance for the wallet.
Welcome back.
Hey.
There it is. We're back. Back to the Whiskey and Insurance Podcast.
Yeah.
With our guest, Ryan Smith.
Special episode.
You know
Ryan
what
Reynolds. Sorry, I watched Deadpool.
I was going to say, he is a good actor.
He's so good in that
I
movie.
like him a lot.
It's just crazy that he can just turn that on. He's so funny. Have you seen
I love his voice.
Oh, yeah,
his voice is so funny to me.
Have you seen the new one?
I've not.
Deadpool Wolverine.
I've never been a
seen the new one.
big
Me
a
either.
big Deadpool guy. I like a lot of his other stuff.
The only thing I'll say, the very first part is the funniest part of the movie because he literally just talks shit on every other producer besides what they created.
Really?
And I think it's the funniest thing ever. Because him, especially, he doesn't give a shit.
Huh.
And knowing
funny.
that, yeah, it's just
It's
funny.
interesting.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. So we got Ryan here, away from Deadpool and Ryan Reynolds. Because, I don't know. We had to bring that up.
You're the
But
real Ryan.
Ryan Smith, the real Ryan. Ryan squared, I guess, whatever we want to call it.
Really?
Inside joke between Ryan and I.
Okay.
But one of the things that I love that you do in everything from an insurance perspective is your passion. You show a lot of passion in everything that you do. But I just really want to get inside your mind as a successful business person and been doing business now in the insurance space for 13 years. 13 years is what you were telling us prior to the break. Tell me about that career, the trajectory. Where'd you start? What products were you doing? Why'd you get into insurance? And how the heck you landed at Aspire and why you love what you do every day?
That's a big list to tick off there, bro. He gave me like 9 things, right? He's like, go ahead and check all these boxes.
Just do what you can remember. Just what you can remember.
Man, I think I got to start before insurance, though,
Yeah.
because I really made my bones in management in the restaurant world. And if I wouldn't have had some great mentors there to really learn how to treat people, how to train people, how to connect with people, both on an employee basis and a guest basis in your restaurant, I don't think I would have some of those skills that I have today to be able to deal with the individual agents. Yeah, deal with probably the wrong word, but have the communication style that I do, and be able to achieve some of the things I did. So
You got to be able to work well with agents and understand, because everybody's got problems, right? No matter what business or industry you're in, it's understanding those problems and implementing a solution to fix said problems.
Correct. So, I had some really awesome mentors back then. When I was 29, I got into the insurance world. I started in life insurance. I got in because of money.
Like everybody.
I needed to make a living. I worked for a guardian shop. I was a captive agent.
I was doing a lot of kitchen table stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I had a bang up first year. My warm market was amazing. I qualified for the trip, all that, kind of.
So you were already on the road.
So yeah, I mean, I understood what it took. But
What year was this?
09.
Ooh.
09.
That's
yeah.
shocking that you had a good year in life insurance and a year into the recession.
Yeah, 09. Yeah, 09, 10, that kind of.
That's impressive, because there's a lot of people that were struggling during this time in that industry.
Yeah. I mean,
Just financial advising, period. I mean, there's sad story, but I mean, there was a lot of financial advisors that were managing not only their money, but their clients' money that killed themselves because they had lost everything. It was a very bad season.
I was
for
on the
financial
complete
advisors.
opposite end of that spectrum. I was too young and too dumb to know any better.
Yeah. Which was good at that time.
Yeah, I mean, I just had a lot of people that I was like, listen, protect your family, right? Guardian was a super macroeconomic planning, and I had great mentors there as well. Man, I had this cat, Rico Nelson, who was like my trainer, manager, whatever you want to call it.
Shout out Rico.
Shout out Rico. That's right.
Shout out.
And man, he said something to me one day because I was super, super frustrated, just stuck with me in my sales career all the way from then till now. He's like, times are tough, right? You're having a tough few weeks. You haven't made sales. He's like, what are you going to do? Fold up like a tissue?
Fold up like a tissue.
Or are you a man?
Wow.
And then he kicked my ass out of his office.
Wow. He questioned your manhood. That's a big
like,
deal, especially as a 29-year-old.
Yeah, I mean,
You're about to enter your 30-year-old season, and I mean, like that. I feel like your 20s is different, and like I feel I'm not 30 yet, but I'm getting closer. As I get closer to 30, I feel like that's like a whole nother area of manhood.
It is.
Yeah. It was interesting because it challenged me in a lot of different ways, not just my manhood, but kind of, I think what he was trying to get a point across was your outlook always has to be up here. Because the minute you bring it down, you're just like every other sales guy.
Man, that's really good.
And
It is really good.
and
that hits home for I feel like a lot of people.
Yeah.
I
so-
feel like that could even apply to Apollo. What do you think?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah,
I mean, I just look at guys though now and I have that conversation sometimes with people. Some people you can be that abrupt with and some people you can't. But I'm like, are you a tissue or aren't you? Like,
Yeah. You gonna fold up?
Yeah, you just have to decide, right? And a lot of this business and sales and success and everything is drive, right? So you got to have the drive, and that's. I caught that at that moment. I don't think I'd ever caught that before. I was always ambitious. I always wanted to do well, but it really made me stop and think about how I was going about that. It was a really unique challenge. In my second year, I didn't do so well. I actually chose to leave and go back to the restaurant industry. And for me, I was a super late bloomer, even then, right? I had a young family, a wife, 2 young kids then. And I don't think I was mature enough for the guardian sales style at that point, right? Macroeconomic, I'm trying to sell to guys who are 50 plus and talk to them about their money and what they should do and why they should do whole life and all, have this kind of plan. And I don't think my communication style was great for my maturity level then. And so
Were you like direct? Like let's dive into that, because once again we have a lot of sales folks that listen to the podcast, and we've talked about cold calling, we've talked about prospecting, we've talked about building referral networks. So give some of the listeners what you mean when you say your maturity in communicating to 50 plus year olds. What were you doing wrong, and how'd that impact your sales cycle?
I think a lot of that though was like understanding how to prospect, right? And understanding how to go out past your warm market, how to ask for referrals, how to do that. And I learned some really hard lessons and got punched in the face a bunch. With people who didn't want to give me referrals or people who didn't buy, and I couldn't understand why. And I think that's where I'm talking about the maturity, was being able to take that feedback and do something with it instead of, fold up like a tissue, right? But understanding how to prospect and understanding when you make a sale, how to ask people for those referrals.
So what was
I think was huge.
And I want to dive into that. You're at the prospect table. You've sold a plan. How were you asking for referrals that was the wrong way?
Oh, I was super nonchalant. I wasn't purposeful in the way I ask. It was like, hey, do you know anybody else who, you might want to give my name to?
And they say, well, no, not really.
Yeah.
Off the top of my head.
Instead of,
what are 5 names that you can give me?
Correct.
Right now.
Or pull out your phone right there. Who are the top 10 people that you talk to right there? Who's on that favorites list? Those are the people that I should be talking to give the same plan that you had, because you saw value in this, so you bought. Right? You have to lead down a road. You can't just nonchalantly be like, well, is there anybody else? And,
because everybody takes the easy way out there. They don't want to.
Exactly. Yeah. Nobody wants to offend their friend or offend their client Well, why is that offensive?
It's not.
That's really the maturity point of understanding what you're doing isn't offensive.
Yeah.
You just
You're helping
did
people.
Yeah, you just did somebody a service by protecting them. I don't care if it's life, health, long-term care, annuity, whatever you're doing, you just help that client, and there's value there. And if you're not mature enough to understand that the value that you bring there to ask for a referral property, you're never going to make it in the insurance world.
But I think it stops there. I think that's a great point. I think you have to, and this is a lot of what a lot of agents miss. You have to believe, right?
Yeah.
And have conviction in what you're doing, what you're selling, and the demographic that you're reaching out to. If you don't believe, how can you sit across from someone and say, "Hey, you should get this product"? And also, I want to reach out to your sister, your aunt, you don't believe, so why would you even feel comfortable enough to even ask for that business?
Well, and I think what you said, demographic,
Yeah.
is huge,
Yeah.
right? Because I'm not going to ask the same referral for somebody that I sold long-term care insurance to as I sold health or life to, right? It's a different demographic of people, just age demographic. Like, let's break it down like that, right? I'm going to approach those people who have that nest egg and they want to protect that nest egg with long-term care, LTC, right?
Yep.
Well, that's completely different than the conversation I'm having with you about your wife and your daughter and life insurance and asking for those referrals. It's a completely different ask. So you have to understand that demographic, that age demographic, how you're going to break that down.
I already took a note over
know.
here. I pulled out my phone.
So-
Something I want to implement already.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, this is what I talk to agents to. I talk to agents about this all day, every day.
Yeah.
I always ask people when they're on the phone with me and I've done a contract for them and they've written their first piece of business and we're on our second or third communication there. Hey, how do you ask for referrals? What do you mean? I mean, how are you building your business, right? You just provided value to somebody and there's somebody else in that age demographic, financial demographic, whatever it is.
So how would you ask for a referral in health insurance? You just helped somebody out. You enrolled them. What would you say specifically to a client on how to get them to give you 3 names that you could help them with?
So I actually just helped an agent with this. They helped a young family, and I walked them through, thanks to Classroom with Scott. Shout out Scott.
Yeah, Scott, guru.
Absolutely.
About what plan this young family should buy. So husband's 28, wife's 27, 2 and 3-year-old. And they're like, well, what plan should I sell this person? And I'm like, well, I think you should sell them a bronze plan. And then you should sell them some ancillary benefits because they have a family history with a critical illness, so let's protect that. And they got kids, so accident, let's protect that.
Yep.
Protect, their $10,000 deductible, whatever it was. I don't remember right off the top of my head, but instead of giving them a silver plan that they're actually going to have to pay for, right? So let's use that budget. Let's buy those ancillaries. Let's protect, against those reasons, right? And I'm walking them through that. And they call me back, and they're like, oh my gosh, like they did everything that you said, right? And they're all excited. And I'm like, whew, that's awesome. Like, air high five because we're on the phone, right? Like, but I'm excited. Like, I'm pumped for you.
Yeah.
What referrals did you ask for?
Yeah.
And they're like, oh gosh. I was like, hang up with me right now, but I'm going to give you the script. Here's what you do. Hey, so-and-so, I don't want to say their name, right? But I know we just got off the phone yesterday, and I was super pumped to help your family, but there are other young families like you, right? Like, do you take your kids to daycare? Who are the daycare people that you're friends with there? Are you involved in a church? Do you have siblings with young kids? Like, who else can I help like you? Because I know you were fired up, right? You're not paying for your bronze plan. We got you out for under $35 a month for the other plans, right? So who else can we call? And don't hold back. That's the script I want you to go use right now. They're like, can you type it out? I'm like, oh, fine, here we go. Type it out, right? So they call me back 2 days later. This is last week. They called me back Friday. They got 32 names. 32 names that agent got.
Yes.
Wow.
Simple script, right? But you have to implant those things in people's mind. It's not just your family.
No.
Hey, you go to daycare with these people, you see them every day, right? Oh, those people at your job that they also, because
awesome.
the lady works in a restaurant. Hey, how many other servers or bartenders or cooks that you talk to every day out on the back dock before and after work, counting your money with your manager, need benefits?
A lot.
Yeah, a grip. Just go ask them.
It's crucial to me because everyone wants to have a guy, right?
You got it.
I got a guy.
Yeah.
I got a guy that can help you because that just gives them more validation to their peers and the people that they are in their circles with every single day. And so I see this often. It's like when I'm around people and someone's in need, or even in the office, or whatever. It's I got a guy.
Yeah.
It makes them feel special. And so once you put that responsibility on somebody, 9 times out of 10 they'll bite on it and they'll really use that information, try to help others because they want to do that. Right. And so we miss the opportunity when we don't ask for that business. And so I think it's crucial. That's good too. That's just you gave them.
Yeah. So stuff like that's what gets me excited, right? Because that agent's freaking pumped.
Exactly.
And that's what I want to experience day in and day out.
Yeah.
I want people that I work with to be successful. I want them to come back and be like,
That
I
is
wrote
so
all
awesome,
32
dude.
plans and I sold, 90 ancillary plans and oh my God, I protected them and I made money.
That's what people don't understand is going with a high deductible plan, even though it's more risk from a deductible perspective. The ancillary plans, we've talked about this multiple times on the podcast.
Yep.
They do all the heavy lifting for when bad things happen.
Yep.
You got it. And also what they have to understand is when they work with us, like we actually have staff to help with those things and get those plans interacted and everything. So, we can go a step further. So, it's a value prop for me, running the shop as the FMO. So, it's a huge thing to talk about.
Really cool.
Okay, so let's jump into the next thing. I asked a lot of questions in my first question to you. How did you get involved with this, what I call this crazy world of an FMO aspire? Talk about that story. And why did you choose that path?
So I had a group shop first.
Yep.
I don't know, 4.5, 5 years, whatever you want to call it, however you want to do math. It was like probably right in between those two measurements. But I had a group that I couldn't write, small group. Actually, a good friend of mine, he was in my wedding. He's my chiropractor.
Shout out 7 Highway Chiropractic.
That's right. That's right.
They take care of your chiropractic needs.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. But I couldn't write the group. I didn't have a good carrier for him. Randomly, somebody gave me Luke's number.
Yep.
And I just call him. I'm like, crap, like I need to help my friend, right? I don't have a great plan that's not like astronomically priced.
They had 4 employees, and Ryan's group plans that they were offering you had to have a minimum of 5 employees or more to enroll. And they could only get 4 employees, which, fun fact, they didn't even get 4. They had 3. The 4th one didn't end up enrolling. So they had 3 employees enroll. One of the other therapists, the owner, and then one of the desk girls.
Correct.
We got those 3 taken care of.
And you found a solution. And
I found a solution.
Individual policy.
Put them all 3 on individual plans.
Yeah, I know where it's going. I know what you did.
Yep.
I know what you did.
He found a solution. 2 got on individual ACAs. 1 got on a health share.
2 health shares, 1 ACA.
Oh, 2. Sorry, I had the math backwards there, but 2 health shares, 1 ACA. Saved them money from their previous, plan. So, that was the beginning of,
This was like November of 2022.
22, yeah.
And I call Ryan and tell him this in December of 22. It's like right after OE, right after the 15th. He's like, hey, man, thanks for helping him out. Appreciate it. I'm about to go. And he told me that, I was like, yeah, do you have any more referrals like this? Mm-hmm. He's like, yeah, I got this large shop that I think I can send you a ton of Medicare leads for. They currently don't do anything for Medicare. And so, like, to this day, I have this Post-it note on my desk, and I do it for nostalgia. It's my notes from my Ryan Smith conversation of December 2022. I'm not kidding. And that Post-it note says several thousand Medicare eligible. You remember me talking about this?
I sure do.
Opportunity. And Ryan goes, let's talk about this when I go back. I'm running out. I need to go out. I just got married with my wife, and we're going on our honeymoon to Aruba.
This is that Ryan?
That Ryan. That Ryan.
one?
Yes. Yes. I'm going on a honeymoon to Aruba. So let's talk about this afterwards. And
Makes
I said, all right,
sense
perfect.
now.
Let's do that.
God, I need to go back to Aruba.
So he gets back, and I probably like call him 30 days. We were supposed to touch base in early January. I probably call him like 3 weeks after.
Yep.
And I say, hey, man, what's going on? I want to talk. I wanted the referrals.
Of course.
And he goes, well, to be honest with you, I don't know about that deal anymore. I'm no longer wanting to be in the space that I'm in. Do you actually have opportunity at all at Apollo? And I said, let's meet. Let's have lunch. Let's see what we can figure out. So we go. We have lunch. I have him in to the office. He sees the office space. 3rd Street Social. We sat at a two-person table. I remember this vividly, and we just talked and communicated. I remember it was one of the 2 tables when you walk in past the desk on the left-hand side. And
Like the booth chair one?
little booth ones.
Yeah.
And we're talking, we go back and forth, and I'm asking him about his history, and he was working on the specific health share deal, which was really intriguing for me. And I did not know where Ryan was going to fit in at the time. And I honestly, I thought it was going to be more group because he had this group major medical experience. He was offering this product. I was thinking, oh man, I was thinking more like helping lead groups team, the groups department, selling group, and training those guys. But I wasn't sold on it. And then something happened, different trajectory on Aspire, and I called him that day, like 2 months after our lunch appointment. I told Ryan. Ryan actually told me, he said, hey, just so you know, I'm rolling snake eyes. I have this other opportunity. I just told them no. I'm hoping.
No,
you
hold
got
on. I got to back up. I got to add a little color here to
Yeah.
this story. I got to add a little color.
Yeah.
So we have lunch, and he calls me back, and it's him and Scott, and I'm on the golf course.
Oh.
And I'm parked under a tree on hole number 3, and I'm trying to act like I'm not on the golf course because I'm on the phone. I'm like waving my buddies off. I'm like, oh, don't come over here.
And do you have more color or no?
No,
Okay.
I just want to be like,
And I remember telling Ryan, I was like, hey, we have a spot that just opened up. And I'm not kidding. It just opened up today. And I think you'd be a perfect fit for it because he was essentially an FMO for a specific product in the group space. And so he had already dealt with agents from a wholesaling perspective. So his role in Aspire is, hey, instead of just wholesaling a specific group product, we're going to wholesale all products.
yeah.
And so that's kind of the rest is history. And now where we're at.
Yeah.
But 2 years later, right?
Yeah.
Almost, yeah. It's been a lot of fun. So,
I'm curious here. We've had $2.5 million.
yeah, I think what was supposed to be like a 45-minute lunch turned into like a 2-hour lunch.
It did.
And then Luke was finally like, all right, I got other meetings.
I did. We've had 55% growth in the 18 months that he's been here in that business.
It's really good.
So,
Damn.
Really good.
We haven't
You're
stopped
kind
yet.
of a dog.
yeah.
I didn't know you were
that's
like
why
that.
I thought
don't
Ryan
wanna
would be
talk.
perfect fit for our podcast as we speak with independent agents. We talk to them virtually through the camera. They come, they tune in, they ask us questions, they send us questions. How do you do this? We've had even people that are in college looking at the insurance industry. Should I get involved in it? So I had to bring that up just so that you can share some
I
of
love
that
it. I love
backstory.
talking to those people. I love talking to experienced people. I love talking to new people. And often what I tell people in the FMO space is I'm the partner that you want me to be. That could mean that you're seasoned and you just need some contracts and you need me to just leave you alone. Great. Here's the contract. Go forth, make money, right? Help people. And some people are like, no, I really need to learn. Like I know about ACA, but I don't know about these ancillary products. Great. Let's start with 1, getting you contracted. And then 2, let's set up a training. Oh, you have downline agents? Sweet. Let's do a town hall. I'll do like the first 15, 20 minutes. I'll give you an overview of an ancillary carrier and I'll talk about how it fits. And then we'll just do this town hall open mic style. Anybody can ask questions. And those are really the trainings I think that go the best rather than like just having a educational webinar, right? Like people do ask good questions on our webinars, but I like that, if I can get a group of 25 agents or less on the phone at the same time for an hour, that's like the miracle hour for me.
Yeah.
You know, because I'm connecting with people. We're actually talking about relevant scenarios. We're giving out some scripting. You know,
It's more personal.
So that leads me
Yeah.
to my next question. And I've got a lot of questions, so we can cut off at any point in time
Okay.
because I could talk about this for hours.
So he's got to go at 6.
Okay.
That's true. We'll make this the last question then. What do you see as the biggest challenge for independent agents and independent agencies as you've been in this business for almost 2 years? What's their number one challenge that you're helping fix?
misinformation.
Okay.
I think it's total misinformation. I think that the information that's out there for how people interpret it is their own interpretation, and it's not the actual information. I think that's the biggest misnomer. I think we ran into this. We were meeting with one of our downline agents, and we were talking about Allstate and having a $250 deductible and the rest covered.
Yep.
And they went, oh, you know? So I think that information, like just understanding
How the products apply
correct,
and work together.
correct, and the proper application of products and how they couple together, I think is the biggest problem. And people get scared of it, right? Because I don't know. I liken this to that saying that successful people do what other people aren't willing to. Well, successful agents read about the product and understand how to couple that, and they call their FMO and they go, hey, can you help me with this? Well, which leads me to another problem. Not all FMOs actually answer their phones to help agents like that. They just give them contracts and pat them on their head and send them on their way, right? If you call me, I'm going to call you back within 24 hours, and I'm going to try and give you an answer. And if I don't know, I'm going to tell you I don't know.
And then you're going to find it.
And then I'm going to find it. That's right. I'm going to go and get that knowledge from somebody who has that experience, and then I'm going to try and lay that out, as well as I can take notes to make that agent understand as well. So
That's good.
I think that information understanding application is the biggest people where agencies fail, and how to train, how to communicate, how to have people have success.
That was
That's
a jewel.
awesome.
Information, understanding, application. Yeah, it's a
You like
process
that
to
word
think.
choice?
I like that.
That
I
was
like
good.
how he structured that there.
One last
He's had
thing.
a lot of good word choices.
Absolutely.
One last thing before
Must be
we
the
head
whiskey.
off, because I want to make sure that we leave the viewers everything. If you had to leave them with one thing, we always ask every guest this. What would that last thing be to the listeners and viewers of the podcast?
Trust your gut.
Trust your gut.
If you don't feel like if you think you're shoehorning somebody into a product, it's not the right product. You got and you need to go back to your prospect, back to your client, whatever they are to you, and you need to get a better understanding of where they're at, what their budget is, what they're trying to achieve. And I think most agents in that scenario are like, man, I'm not making that phone call. Why?
Yeah.
Why not?
All right.
Don't you think that your client's going to appreciate you more when you say, hey, you know what? We had a great call and great notes, but that I'm looking at this product. I just really want to make sure that this is the proper avenue that I'm going to do for you. You're not taking anything away from yourself there, or any of your knowledge. You're actually showing them that
You're doing
you
research.
care about them.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm not just trying to rip you off to sell you this policy to make a commission. No, I'm actually trying to understand where you're at in life. Okay, you have a wife, you have kids, you have a job. This is the trajectory you're trying to go to build your lifestyle. Let me sell you a product that helps protect your lifestyle so you're not out of pocket 5, 10, 25 grand, whatever it is. So and all agents who are in this business who care about people know exactly what I'm talking about when you're signing somebody up and you're going, man, this will work, but could I do better?
Yep.
Trust your gut. Talk to your clients because your gut told you to.
Yeah.
Don't take
that's
the easy
perfect
way out.
Because Mark over here, my guy, we're at our Monday morning meeting this week, and his thing that he left the audience with was, we're not here to make a sale. We're here to create clients of a lifetime.
You got it.
And that what you said only makes a sale. It does not create a client for a lifetime. Boom.
Yeah. Sales.
Mic drop.
Sales don't matter. Relationships matter.
For sure.
I'll leave you with this. I know I got a lot of words, right? But I'm talking to this agent the other day. I've been talking to this agent for a year and a half. You know how many contracts I had with him? 0. I got 0 contracts with this agent. They're with another FMO. I probably spend at least an hour every other week with this particular agent because she cares. The other FMO won't answer the phone. I think I'm finally maybe going to win business because I've helped her for a year and a half. And I'll keep all the other stuff out of it, but I've got a relationship with this person now. I've got a relationship with this person now, so
He's not answering.
I'm not going to give any hints. I don't want to call anybody out on a podcast, but that relationship is more important to me. That trust is more important to me because I know sometime, whether it's before open enrollment or it's sometime next year, we're going to end up doing business together.
Just a matter of time.
It's just a matter of time, right? And people need to understand that in relationship, you cannot put a timestamp on making a change.
Absolutely.
Right? Like, I don't care if you're married or you got a girlfriend or a boyfriend or whatever you got. You cannot put a timestamp on change there, right?
Gotta stop looking at me.
It's the same thing in a sales cycle. I don't care if it's me for an agent or if it's an agent for a client. You can't put a timestamp on them making an actual physical change. And that physical change is what? Their outgo of money. Right? So you have to understand where they're at and keep that relationship. And there's so much value in, I don't know, I guess I'm a relationship seller. I'm not a transactional seller.
Absolutely. And that's kind of how you have to be, though. I mean, especially if you want to play the long run game of sales.
Yeah.
Especially in our industry. Because, I mean, you can sell all you want, but if you don't have good retention and you don't have that relationship with the client, I mean, we see that with people that leave. I mean, we're talking about our what's it called? People who take care of the books.
Account managers.
Account managers. That they can't get, they have 100 clients, but they can get 10 of them on the phone. That just shows you that they don't have good retention.
They didn't have a good relationship with the client to begin with. They put minimal effort up front.
Correct.
And now the client they don't know who their agent was or Apollo was. They just remember their insurance carrier. That's it. And that's the difference between a successful person in the insurance industry and a person that's not successful.
Yeah.
If you're not going to spend the extra 20 minutes to build a relationship, even though it costs 20 minutes of time, which is important and valuable in our industry because time is that's the thing that we don't have a lot of.
It's essential.
If you put the extra 20 minutes into every conversation, you will build a relationship that will last a long time.
See, and it's crazy because where I kind of see it, though, is like there's not a lot, but there's a couple clients that will always text me and be like, are you the United Healthcare guy or are you the Cigna guy? And I'm like, I didn't build enough rapport because that's not me. Like I'm Talbot. I need to build my own brand.
Yeah.
And I'm the broker. Yes. Did I give you that policy? Right. But that's not the only policy I have.
Yeah.
And I'm not
I've got
that
all of
guy.
them
Yeah, I'm not that guy.
Yeah.
I'm myself. So
That's good. Well, thank you for tuning in to the podcast.
Yes.
Yeah.
We're going to wrap it up here because I know Ryan's got to go.
dinner.
But what I'll say is if you want to have more podcasts like this, information about how to sell, what makes people successful. I mean, I love, there were some nuggets I was taking down where I want to implement tomorrow with our agents. I already have an idea in my head and I love it. And I'm going to roll it out tomorrow to our insurance agents just from this simple conversation. It's simple, but it's a lot of times we don't.
Juicy.
Yeah, we don't take the time to do the implementation, and it's easy, and we forget about that. We forget about the everyday. What's it take to be a successful agent, insurance person, salesperson, regardless. It can apply to any sales industry. This isn't just insurance.
You got it.
Any sales industry. And that's one of the things that just gets me so excited about what we're able to do because we're able to reach an audience that this stuff really matters. If you apply it and do it the right way, it really does. It matters. So thanks for tuning into the podcast. One last whiskey for the souls.
Insurance for the wallets. Cheers, guys.
Thanks for having me, fellas.
Yeah.
Until next time.
Appreciate it.
Until next time.
This has been the Whiskey and Insurance Podcast brought to you by Apollo Health Insurance. Don't forget to subscribe, follow us on Spotify, and be sure to RSVP to our first live podcast event on September 10th.
Aye.